Hey, what's going on, everybody? Gabriel Santos here from gfsantos.com. And in today's video, I'm going to update you all on how my no Fap journey is going. And if you're someone who is also working on their responsibility with weed, there will also be some parallels connected between my no Fap journey and my weed free journey or the moderation journey. Okay, so for those that don't know, uh, at least for men, young men in particular, there is this movement called No Fap, and essentially, there's a school of thought that says um, men who watch porn on a consistent basis uh, develop many like there are a lot of negative consequences to that. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna turn off this TV in the back. And basically, the general one is like, it obscures the way we view sex, and it also objectifies women, obviously. And then on top of that, and don't quote me on the scientific part of it, but there are some correlations between like anxiety and insecurity and low self-esteem. There are correlations with those things and porn use. Um, and just in general, for me personally, ever since I was in high school, even younger, which was back in like the 2006 to 2010 era, um, I was never proud of my porn use. And I'm not here to advocate like porn is bad, but personally, I've always had this itch to stop watching porn. And as it pertains to masturbation, there's also a school of thought that says semen retention, which is basically, not releasing your sperm. That there are many benefits to that. Higher increase in energy, increase in testosterone, and so for me personally, the reason why I'm so drawn to no fap and semen retention, which I'm just gonna clump together as no fap for me, the reason why I'm so drawn to that is because it's kind of like I just feel like it doesn't serve me, and it's become this pure pleasure thing. And there's nothing wrong with pleasure, but for me, like I want, for me personally, I want to just let that go and no longer, and to be free from having to satisfy those urges, um, with the assumption that my life will be better because of it, you know um, even if that's just mental health and overall like emotional well-being. um, and so in my experience, I so I've the longest I've gone without watching porn and without jacking off is 29 days. And I've also gone through a multiple number of spurts where like I won't do it for a week or 2 weeks or even just like 5 days. And what I've noticed for me is around the fourth or fifth day, there is an acute sense of like emotional security, and you can call it confidence. And I almost definitely think there is like a boost in testosterone. Now there's some scientific research that says like after 7 days, like the testosterone doesn't raise any higher. Um, but for me, even on top of all of that, like I just want to grow, and I want to level up my muscle of discipline. And I feel like porn, especially for young men like myself, porn is one of those things where we just kind of do it, and it's normal in society. And I don't know, I just, along with how like with weed, it's like I just kind of want to let that go. And so me and my friend, we've decided to embark upon this journey together. In case you're wondering, from the last time I mentioned NoFap, I definitely didn't stick to it. I definitely didn't stick to NoFap ever since then. But most recently, me and my buddy, we made a commitment just to go through February with NoFap. And I just got off the phone with that same buddy, and we are committing to the rest of the year. Um, if you want to check out NoFap, you can Google it. You can there If you're on Reddit, you can search r/no nofap. If you're on YouTube, which you obviously are, you can just look it up on YouTube. Um, and yeah, so uh, what are my hopes? One thing's for sure, I just want to drop that habit. It kind of feels like if I can, if there's a realistic opportunity, if there's a realistic possibility of me just like growing out of the need to watch porn as well as the need to masturbate. Now I know there's going to be a host of people who are like masturbation is healthy, it's okay, and I'm not even advocating that this is something people need to do. Um, I just know personally, and this might be too much information, that, and this is normal, that if I don't masturbate for like 2 or 3 weeks, like I'm just gonna have a wet dream and it's gonna release on its own. So it's not a big deal in that regard. And I'm not here to judge anyone that like actively like masturbates. Like it's your body, you can do whatever the fuck you want with it. But for me, the way I look at it, it's like it's a form of practicing discipline, and it's a way for me to just grow. And so if that's something if that's something you're interested in, if you've ever had like this passing thought of like, man, maybe I should stop watching porn, or, I want to try and hold off on jacking off. Cause it can be such a mindless thing, man. Like, just like with weed, like it can just become this mindless escape thing, or mindless entertainment, mindless pleasure. And, so there's nothing wrong with wanting to instill some discipline and wanting to practice long-term gratification. Um, and in general, how I want to relate this to weed. So it is in your best interest to develop the habit and the muscle of just saying no and going like a day without it. A day without weed, a day without porn, a day without masturbation, especially if it's something you kind of depend on um, emotionally to kind of get through certain like anxiety or whatever. Like, develop that muscle of just saying no. And the beauty of this and the wisdom in this is that when you have the muscle and you have the tools within you to just say no and go a day, that's extremely valuable. That's extremely valuable, because then that way you know that you have the power to not do it for a day, and it just becomes normal, man. Like, like that, then you have that at that disposal. Because I know there are a lot of people who like they struggle even going one day, and I get it, because sometimes those cravings are so much, but it is in your best interest, like I said, to develop the habit and the identity of being like, oh, I can go a day off and it's no big deal. And it's no big deal. Because I think underneath both the weed use and the porn use is just like emotional dependency. And if I can, as I grow more and more emotionally independent from needing to use those things to cope with certain feelings, whether it's boredom, as simple as boredom, doesn't have to be deep, just boredom, or even just like feeling tired or feeling pent up. Like, for me personally, I feel more whole when I'm dealing with my emotions, and more like it just, because smoking weed and masturbation, like, it's such a cop out, like it's too easy. I feel like part of the reason why we have certain difficult emotions is because like we need to face what's there. We need to address what's really there. And sometimes um pure escapism, you never really get to address what's there, when really like that's what your soul is looking for, is to address what's there. So I kind of rumbled on there. Hopefully you guys found this video valuable in some way. um I'd love to see what you have to say in the comments. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And as of course, if you have any suggestions or you want to share something, feel free to leave in the comments below. If you like this video, please like it. Obviously, give it a thumbs up. And yeah, I hope you guys had a great day and keep growing. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Next video. Peace.